My perfect sister tried to sabotage my business and ruin my life, but my revenge left her bankrupt and alone. I've never been the favorite child. That role was always reserved for my older sister, Amelia. From the moment she was born, she was the golden child, the one who could do no wrong. She was beautiful, effortlessly intelligent, and charming. I, on the other hand, was always just me. Average, competent, but never exceptional in my parents' eyes. This favoritism wasn't subtle. It was blatant, a constant, nagging comparison that permeated every aspect of my childhood and young adult life. Every achievement of mine was met with a polite nod, while Amelia's was celebrated with lavish parties and endless praise. If I got an A, it was expected. If Amelia got an A, she was a genius. If I won a local art competition, it was nice. If Amelia won a school debate, she was destined for greatness. It created a deep-seated resentment within me, a feeling that no matter what I did, I would always be second best. This dynamic continued into adulthood. Amelia pursued a career in law, quickly climbing the corporate ladder. My parents would brag about her to anyone who would listen, detailing her latest promotion or impressive case win. I, meanwhile, decided to follow my passion for baking. I started small, selling custom cakes and pastries from my tiny apartment kitchen. It was hard work, long hours, and initially, not very lucrative. My parents, of course, were less than thrilled. My mother, in particular, saw it as a whimsical hobby rather than a legitimate career. "When are you going to get a real job, darling?" she'd ask, her tone laced with thinly veiled disappointment. My father, equally dismissive, would often suggest I go to business school, implying my chosen path was unsure IOUs and unsustainable. Their lack of support fueled my determination, though. I was determined to prove them wrong, to show them that my passion could be a successful venture. After several years of relentless effort, my little baking business, Sweet Surrender, began to flourish. I saved every penny, reinvested in better equipment, and eventually, with the help of a small loan and a lot of courage, I opened my own small bakery in a charming, up-and-coming neighborhood. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine. The aroma of fresh bread and sweet pastries filled the air, and my customer base grew steadily. People loved my unique flavor combinations and the personal touch I put into every creation. I finally felt a sense of accomplishment, a pride that was entirely my own, unburdened by comparisons to Amelia. My parents' reaction: a lukewarm "that's nice, dear," followed by a quick change of subject to Amelia's latest legal victory. It stung, but I was learning to build my own armor against their indifference. Amelia, despite her high-flying career, always seemed to harbor a subtle disdain for my chosen path. She'd often make snide remarks, disguised as jokes, about my cupcake empire, or ask if I was still playing with flour. It was never overtly malicious, but the underlying condescension was palpable. I tried to ignore it, to focus on my success and the joy my bakery brought me. However, things took a sinister turn when a new, upscale coffee shop, The Daily Grind, opened just 2 blocks down from Sweet Surrender. The owner, a man named Mark, was charming and ambitious. His shop quickly became popular, attracting a trendy crowd. I saw him as a competitor, of course, but a healthy one. I believed there was enough business for everyone in the neighborhood. Then, things started going wrong at my bakery. First, a sudden drop in customer traffic. Then, a series of increasingly negative online reviews appeared, all from new accounts, all echoing similar complaints about stale products, poor service, and inflated prices, none of which were true. My stellar 5-star rating plummeted. I was bewildered. I prided myself on the quality of my ingredients and my friendly staff. I checked my inventory, double-checked my recipes, even had a friend mystery shop my own establishment. Everything was as it should be. The reviews, however, were relentless and damaging. People started avoiding my bakery, opting for The Daily Grind instead. I was losing customers, and fast I tried to combat the negative reviews by encouraging my loyal customers to leave positive ones, but the sheer volume of new negative comments was overwhelming. My stress levels skyrocketed. I was working harder than ever, trying to maintain quality and keep my staff motivated, but the financial strain was immense. I started dipping into my savings, the very money I had meticulously saved to expand my business. This wasn't just a setback, it felt like a targeted attack. One evening, while scrolling through social media, I stumbled upon a picture that made my blood run cold. It was a selfie of Amelia and Mark, the owner of the Daily Grind, laughing together at a fancy restaurant. The caption from Mark read, "Great brainstorming session with the brilliant Amelia. Exciting things to come for the Daily Grind." My stomach dropped. Amelia, my sister who mocked my cupcake empire, was not only associating with my direct competitor but was actively brainstorming with him. A sickening realization dawned on me. Could she be behind the attacks on my business? The thought was so insidious, so cruel, I almost dismissed it. But the evidence, circumstantial as it was, began to pile up in my mind. Her consistent dismissal of my career, her proximity to Mark, the timing of the negative reviews. It all started to make a horrible kind of sense that I decided to investigate. It wasn't easy, as Amelia was notoriously private, and Mark was a new acquaintance. I started by discreetly asking around the neighborhood. My staff, loyal and concerned, also kept their ears open. It turns out, Mark and Amelia had been seen together quite frequently in recent weeks, often in hushed conversations. One of my delivery drivers mentioned seeing Amelia's car parked outside the Daily Grind late at night on several occasions. It wasn't definitive proof, but it certainly raised my suspicions. Then, I got a call from an old college friend, Sarah, who worked as a freelance social media consultant. She had heard about the sudden downturn in my bakery's online reputation and offered to help me investigate the source of the negative reviews. Sarah was a whiz with digital forensics, and I desperately needed her expertise. Within a few days, Sarah traced the IP addresses of the most damaging reviews. To my horror, several of them originated from an address associated with Amelia's law firm. Others were from burner accounts, but the pattern was clear. Someone was orchestrating a smear campaign, and all signs pointed to Amelia. The discovery hit me like a physical blow. My own sister, my blood, was actively trying to destroy my livelihood. The resentment I had felt for years curdled into a bitter rage. This wasn't just sibling rivalry. This was an act of pure malice. I confronted Amelia, trying to keep my voice calm despite the tremor in my hands. "Amelia, are you working with Mark from the Daily Grind?" She feigned innocence, her expression a mask of confusion. "Mark? Oh, we met through a mutual friend. He's a lovely guy. Why? And are you helping him spread false reviews about my bakery?" I asked, cutting straight to the chase, my voice now shaking with anger. Her composure cracked. Her eyes darted away, a flicker of guilt crossing her face before she quickly composed herself. "Don't be ridiculous. My name." Why would I do something like that? Because you've always hated that I found something I'm good at, something independent of you and Mom and Dad's expectations. I retorted, the years of suppressed frustration finally boiling over. "You want me to fail, don't you? You can't stand that I'm not begging for a real job like you wanted." She scoffed, a cold, dismissive sound. "Honestly, my name, you're being paranoid. This is just typical small business struggles. Maybe your baked goods just aren't as good as you think they are." Her words, so casually cruel, ignited a fire within me. I knew then that I couldn't just let this go. She had actively tried to ruin me, and she would pay the price. I didn't want to just expose her. I wanted to hit her where it hurt, to make her feel the same vulnerability and fear she had tried to inflict on me. I spent weeks meticulously planning my revenge, gathering more evidence, and building my case that my first step was to discreetly inform Mark's primary investor, a local businessman known for his strict ethical standards, about the orchestrated smear campaign. I presented him with the IP address evidence and screenshots of Amelia and Mark's suspicious interactions. The investor was furious. He prided himself on ethical business practices. and the idea of his investment being used in such an underhanded way appalled him. He immediately launched an internal investigation into the Daily Grind's operations and Mark's conduct. Next, I compiled all the evidence of Amelia's involvement, the IP addresses linked to her law firm, the social media posts, witness testimonies from my staff, and even a few anonymous tips from within Amelia's own firm where people had noticed her unusual interest in my business. I didn't go to my parents. I knew they would protect Amelia, rationalize her behavior, and blame me. Instead, I took the evidence to her law firm's ethics committee. Amelia's firm had a strict code of conduct regarding professional integrity and conflict of interest, especially when it came to undermining other businesses. Sabotaging a competitor, particularly one owned by a family member, was a serious breach of those ethics. While the investigations were underway, I also used Sarah's expertise to launch my own counter-campaign. We posted heartfelt messages on social media, acknowledging the recent negative reviews but reassuring customers of our commitment to quality. We ran special promotions, offered free samples, and invited local food bloggers for tastings. We emphasized transparency and asked our loyal customers to share their positive experiences. Slowly, painstakingly, my reputation began to recover. The genuine reviews started to outweigh the fabricated ones, and customers, sensing the authenticity of my efforts, started returning. The fallout was swift and devastating for Amelia. The ethics committee at her law firm took my evidence very seriously. Not only was her behavior unethical, but it also painted the firm in a negative light. They launched a full investigation, and the evidence against her was overwhelming. She was reprimanded, her reputation within the firm was tarnished, and she was put on a probationary period with a significant pay cut. Her career, which had been her everything, was now in jeopardy. Mark's situation was even worse. The investor, disgusted by his unethical tactics, pulled his funding from the Daily Grind. Without the financial backing, Mark couldn't sustain the business. His suppliers demanded payment, his staff began to leave, and his once trendy coffee shop quickly spiraled into bankruptcy. Within months, the Daily Grind closed its doors for good. The news of Amelia's downfall spread through our extended family like wildfire. My parents, initially disbelieving, were forced to confront the truth when her firm's internal investigation became public. They were mortified, not for me, but for the damage to their perfect family image. My mother called me, her voice dripping with disappointment, not at Amelia's actions, but at my overreaction. "Did you really have to do this, darling? You've ruined your sister's career," she wailed. My father, equally indignant, accused me of being vindictive. "Amelia made a mistake, a small error in judgment. You've destroyed her life over a few bad reviews." I was calm. "She didn't make a small error in judgment, Dad. She actively tried to destroy my business, my dream, out of pure spite. She orchestrated a smear campaign against me. What she did was malicious and intentional, and I protected myself and my livelihood. You never supported me, never believed in my business. You always put Amelia first. Now, for once, you're seeing the consequences of her actions, not just her manufactured perfection." The silence on the other end of the line was deafening. They had no real argument, no defense for Amelia's egregious behavior. Their golden child had finally been exposed, not by me actively seeking her downfall, but by her own toxic actions. Amelia lost her job a few months later. The damage to her reputation was too severe, and her firm couldn't risk the ongoing ethical concerns. She tried to find work at other prestigious law firms, but her name was effectively blacklisted in the city's legal circles. Her once glittering career crumbled into dust. She was forced to sell her expensive apartment and move into a much smaller, less glamorous place. Her social circle, built on her professional success, evaporated. She became isolated, bitter, and, for the first time in her life, truly alone. As for me, Sweet Surrender not only survived but thrived. The negative publicity, once a threat, had ironically brought more attention to my bakery. My story became known, and many people rallied behind me, drawn by the underdog narrative and the quality of my products. We expanded, opened a second location, and my business became more successful than I had ever dared to imagine. My parents still haven't fully recovered from Amelia's public fall from grace. They still try to subtly blame me, but their attempts are feebler now. The golden child narrative has been irrevocably shattered. Amelia occasionally tries to reach out, her messages filled with self-pity and thinly veiled accusations that I ruined her life. I never respond. I have no regrets. She tried to destroy me, and she reaped what she sowed. For the first time, I am truly free from her shadow, standing tall and successful, not because of anyone else's validation, but because I fought for myself and my dream. And that, in itself, is the sweetest victory.